at Pindar. Yeah, barrel tasting.
Yeah.
You know?
Are you doing the tour today?
Yeah, I know.
Star Vineyards, my name is Matthew. I do all the wine education here. A lot of faces are familiar, especially if you're wine club. That's great too. So champagne. We might have people come and walking in and out. I'll just let you know that it's not supposed to have 25. This is not 25. We'll start from here there a little bit later. Alright, so champagne. It's a pain. Champagne. As we get into this. And the start. So there once was this French monk. It's around 1640, in between 1660. And he's in a chateau in France. And he's in charge of making all the monasteries wine, which then goes to churches, everything. It was a very big thing in these days, and wine was very prized. He is very particular. Problem is, you don't have a lot of machinery like we do have now, all the technology that we can get into, so it is a lot harder for himself. So one day, he's upstairs, the cellar is downstairs, and it sounds like someone is rummaging through the cellar. It sounds like there's a huge commotion. He actually thinks someone is robbing the cellar. So he runs downstairs to a quick dismay, and almost a third of the cellar is just exploded and broken on the ground. He takes his hand, touches his tongue, touches the ground, and touches his tongue again. And his words are, "Come quickly, I am tasting the stars." And supposedly that was the start of champagne. Alright. Now, in reality, what happened was, early in the springtime, we get that quick little warm up, and you have a change in temperature. Right? And what happened was, there was still yeast and sugar still alive in that bottle, which you did not refine out. And it basically turned those bottles into ticking time bombs, and they exploded. Right? So we had a second fermentation in the bottle, and the bottle could not take it. Any idea what his name was? Champagne. That was Dom Perignon. Right? And that is actually where the chateau still exists, and that's one of the vineyards that they farm the grapes from. Pinot Meunier, Pinot Noir, and Chardonnay from. It's actually his original monk chateau where they make it. Right? Very prestigious. That's why some of the higher priced champagne you'll see. Usually starting is anywhere from $150 up to around $300 depending on the vintage. That's starting. Right? Champagne, pain, expensive, pain in the butt, all together. So as we talked about the start, so that's the start and how we started. We harvest champagne as early as the last week in August to the first week to second week in September. It will all depend on sugars and acidity that we find in the grapes once we test them. We're going for the finer stuff, and everything is always hand-picked. So it's all hand-picked clusters, and then we go to sorting from there. So it's all hand-picked, and we only take the better stuff. Then they are hand-loaded into our press, and then they are pressed. We only take about a third of the juice also, depending on the variety. If it's our Pinot Meunier, it's only a third. Sometimes the Chardonnay will take up to 2/3, but we're looking for the finest, the cleanest out of all of them, and of all the juice we can get from that. That is the most important when you're making champagne. So we begin the press cycle, we press everything in, and we take all the finer juice from the first press into a tank, and the rest goes into another tank to be made into something else. Now the pain part begins. Alright, so we're in a tank, we have all the juice inside, and we have to start our yeast cycles. We take champagne yeast and we begin to count microbes and how fast they are multiplying. Once the winemaker gets them to the point that he would like, which is basically him coming in every morning, checking and going under a microscope and counting and multiplying, and he has to sit there and count, and if he messes up, he has to do it again. And that's another pain part. That's very important. That's our first fermentation that we have in our tank. Once we get it to where we like. Then we still have, this wine was considered unclean at that time. We've had our first fermentation. There's still sugar. There's still yeast particles that we're having in it. That's why we're counting them. can then take that wine and put it into bottles. Now to get back to the Dom Perignon story, our bottles are very different. Champagne bottles are almost 4 times as thick. Right? They can hold more pressure than the tires in your car. Right? It's usually almost 3 to 4 times the pressure that can hold in your car. Because think about that. That's how they don't explode, or that's how we don't have anything erupting, or that problem where all those bottles broke. So that pressure can be held in there. You would consider that what is like 66 fathoms. There's there's even some French wineries that take their wine for their time that they're going to let the wine sit on the leaves. They take it into crates and then drop it in the ocean, and then they pick it up later. Of course, it's washed because we'd have bottles like that, but that also adds an expense to their wine. Okay, so we have that, we put it in the bottles, and we have our beer cap right on top. That's what we use to hold it for this time. It does not get corked. That's that little lip that you see that we crimp that beer cap onto. And it has a little spindle on it that actually holds the sediment, what we're looking to when we are going to refine this wine. So after we have the beer cap on, it's going to sit down into big lugs or big bins, however you like. Some places will put it into really fancy things. They lay them down with cotton rolls, everything like that. Like sitting them on pillows and things like that. We lay them all flat, all together. And that time that it's spent sitting down, it will gain different flavors and different styles depending on what you would like. Usually the longer you let something sit on the leaves, the more cakier, the heavier the wine can get. But of course, at that time, you just have wine sitting there, that's raising the price of your champagne, right? So price goes up. So the longer it sits, usually the more you pay for that. That's why when you go to some places and you're looking at some of the vintages, and there's a crazy price difference between the vintages. So now we get to the good part, right? What you're actually going to see today, which would be the disgorging, right? So once that has sat on those leaves for however long the winemaker would like, he'll pop bottles every 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, and check to see the flavor that he likes. So you begin to disgorge, right? So you will then take these and put these into riddling racks and riddle away all the sediment that's left in that unclean wine after that fermentation that's going through the bottle, right? So we actually put it into a machine and it just back, forth, front, back, side to side, and it riddles away all the sediment, all the leaves that's still left in the bottle, and it drops to the neck of the bottle where little spindles and you catch it in there. This is an important part because we never want to upright the bottles again. If we did that, start at zero, you have to go back doing that again. In the old days, which you'll actually see, I have riddling racks on our left-hand side as we'll walk in. Those was when we actually hand riddled. There would be a chalk line, and someone 4 times a day would take them and turn them a quarter turn every day. And they would do that for 2 to 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 10 weeks, depending on how long they would like to do that. As of right now, it only takes us a week, and we put it in a machine, we push a button, and it's done. That also makes everything a lot easier. There's no pain, no pressure, and there's less human error. When you have that, someone down there riddling rack, say it's Sunday, their football team lost, coming out to work on Monday, and they're like, oh God, this is terrible. And then you're seeing the lines all over the place. That's not good, that's human error, and that'll be a problem. There are still some places when you purchase your bottle of champagne, you see a little chalk line, some of it's fake. Don't believe that, that's a Pinocchio, right? But some places actually still do hand riddle, but talking about $1,000 bottle, usually minimum for that. Okay, so now we'll get to the disgorgement for the best part. Let's go.
Oh my God.
It's like a seance.
Angel talk.
Nice.
Angela, you see the bottle, please? No. You get drunk from the fermentation.
So what we have actually on right now is
I was wasn't
starting
gonna touch
point of disgorging. This is food grade antifreeze that we have inside there. When the bottles are turned upside down, just like this. And then when you freeze the ice plug inside the bottle, and then that's all the leftover sediment, all the dirty wine that's left inside the bottle. And that is the part of disgorging. So we then that liquid that freezes the champagne that we have inside we go very low on the freezer, let it sit there for a while to have it, and then we eject that ice plug out. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to turn this off and just run into you, just so you can hear and see it. Follow the melt a little bit, and that'll be okay. Just a little bit more dangerous for me. Right, and pass these around. This is, even if you've probably done this a million times, held the bottle of champagne, but just feel how heavy this is. This is what a normal wine bottle weighs full.
Hi, Lucy.
Because,
Hi, Lucy.
because
Heavy.
that's the pressure that it pulls. It is heavy. So it's a full regular 750 ml bottle filled with wine. This holds more pressure than the tires in your car. Think about this in the bottle, all right?
When you want to hit somebody in the head with that.
I'll do this once or twice so everyone gets to see it. Just make sure it's good. Alright. So now, as we froze the leftover set of the unclean wine in this, we will then begin the disgorgement process. So this bottle will not move from how it is, upside right. You do not want to touch any of that because that is very cold. That will burn. Sometimes they like to play the game who can stick their hand in there the longest. I'm not doing that. That'd be a Friday thing. So all the sediment is now trapped in the bottom part of this bottle, right? And the ice plug is here. I am then going to open this and shoot out the unclean wine, and then refill it with another bottle, which would be clean, which was also disgorged. This is the saddest part of the story. Another reason why champagne costs so much. They like to call this the Christmas six-pack. Right? Christmas six-pack is, you know, you got to spend time with your family. You buy the six-pack. You drink one on the way because you know you have to deal with them. It's what you lose to actually make that six-pack. So it actually takes about one whole bottle to produce 6 bottles in actual loss. Alright, so that's the loss you get when you produce every case of champagne, which is usually around 6 bottles. Wow. Very sad, very sad. But you need that because that is considered unclean wine. You do not want that in there. Sometimes you can see the stuff that's up in there. You don't want that left over, alright? So one of the things you want to do. Now, I've been doing this for a while, but the person that really does this all the time has been doing this for over 20 years. And it is a skill thing. Do not let anyone tell you any differently. Disgorging champagne is a skill, and you have to be very well trained because you can even lose more than you are supposed to, which is going to happen today. You're going to see the amount of loss. That's why I'm not refilling these today. I'm going to have this stacked up, but you're going to see everything else. All right. So I'm going to disgorge this. In reality, I should probably only lose to about right here. That's where the wine should be because this is filled all the way. It's filled all the way. There's a little cap here. I should lose the ice plug and a little bit of wine. So tips and bets on where you think we're going to be. All right. So what basically happens is I pop this cap off because this is pressurized, and it will shoot out the plug and the unclean wine that we have in here. I'll do 2 just so in case everyone can see. If no one sees, I'll just make sure we come up. As you see, I have this suit jacket on. This might be a little bit of fun. Okay.
Yeah, it didn't look like you lost too much.
But remember that cork can kill somebody.
Really?
That's very bad. It looks like.
Wow.
Oh, it look like you lost it all.
I thought you didn't lose anything.
I'll be like you're wasting it.
Oh, now I see.
Ah, where's the glass?
Oh, there you go.
Pour me a glass, Matt.
I'm disappointed in you.
Oh, man.
I know, and then everyone was like, alright, so now basically this is a 38 filled bottle, which is also forge, so I would take the first part of this forge, I finish it here, and this delicately transfers the wine into this and fills this to the proper amount, okay? And then we go to the danger area, right? The corking system. So this cork, I'm going to let you pass a couple of these around. Pass these around, just feel that.
Holy mackerel.
These will range anywhere from $1 to $3 a piece. Alright, you hear?
I mean, I don't think we'd cork anybody with gas like that. It's too bad.
There is no pork shortage. There's no pork shortage.
That would hurt.
For me.
There's a pork shortage.
Touch it. That's a big cork. That's a big cork.
So this pork actually
Painful.
this pork actually fits inside this bottle. Wow.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's on my toe.
That we get.
Go close.
You said that cork fits in that bottle.
I had a little bit of everything. That little area. Your wife, remember?
No.
Okay.
Alright, so this machine, as you look at all the names on there, Nelly Tech, Prospero, and things like that, all the machines are from overseas. So if you have a problem, you know what that means. You have to wait for parts to come in. And they're right. So that's the only sad part about making champagne. So what we basically do is this cork goes right in here. Alright? I place the cork in and now I take the bottle, I just slide this right on here. And as you can see, that thing is screaming right now. And by screaming, I mean it looks like it wants to come right out. So you can go right over to this usually.
I don't think it's screaming. I think it's
Usually when I'm here during the summer, this is when we just forge. I'm working these two machines, and then we have someone else to forge in. Okay. So this is my job, and this is like out in the picture in the summer. And they actually made this for Americans. Speaking for all of us, because I'm American, they made this so you cannot hurt yourself. Even with my long arms, I can't press this without using two hands. So these two buttons now can strap this cage on top of this bottle. So I take this, I turn this on. And I just press both buttons.
Did you see that? No.
Sario hates that noise.
And it puts that.
Assistant winemaker, he hates that noise, so I try and run it the whole time. And I like zone it out, I don't put on music and all that.
Yeah.
He hates the noise, so it's over and turn it off and turn it on. He hates that, the buzzing of this going on, so I keep it running for most as long as I can. It even gets to start to bother me, but I know they're bothering some more, so I think it's funny. And voila, that is our finished bottle of champagne. I'm gonna run us through just a real quick on another bottle, just how to see how we normally run, and that's how we would do the champagne bottles all together. This machine also, as you can see, this measure that we see up top with the dosage too, if you would like that. But the wines we're trying today are traditional method, all natural, no additives, all done here, all by hand, no touching. It's not touching. So it's all natural.
No touchy, no feeling?
So you can touch the bottle and you're gonna realize that this is cold. So
No touchy, no feeling?
Yeah.
Come on, we gotta touch that bottle. No touchy, no feeling.
When it is cold, it's condensation. That is a major problem. Okay? So condensation, we would actually have to wait another day or 2 days before we even label the bottles.
Okay. Why am I touching it? Why am I touching it?
to be the camera.
You're just a cameraman. Shut up.
I'm just saying, why am I touching it?
Oh yes, all right. So when we were talking about the cork shortage. So these what we actually
This is
harvest
getting
corn
hot.
from is actually the bark from the trees. Right. And these trees are only found in
Right.
very few areas in the world. And I also sardine, unfortunately, we're very big into production of them. But once you harvest the bark off the tree, it takes 7 to 10 years for that tree to grow that bark back before you can harvest it again. So again, the cork shortage is a cork type. Everything is going up in America. Everything is going up in the world in price, right? So corks used to be a penny. Those corks are $1 to $3 depending on what they cost per square. So think about that price. Right?
That's why they use the synthetic ones.
Synthetic.
Alright.
Oh, Janae, why you bring that up for? Now she's in trouble.
I like you, so now I gotta
She's in trouble.
So synthetics, alright, synthetics. Synthetics, it's the weirdest thing with cork is the best thing for wine. Cork is the best thing for aging wine, especially red wine and champagnes in general. It's a porous thing. It actually helps the wine breathe, but not breathe at the same time. So
Breathe.
Little liquids to touch will always stay good as long as it does not dry out. Synthetic corks can alter flavor, can alter aging, can destroy the bottle.
Not good.
So I'll take that out.
I
We'll
can't
cut that.
stop.
We'll cut.
Very, very quickly. So this cork's a bottle. I would fill it. I move over to the corking machine. Place the cork in. Go in. Then I go to the capping machine. Put this on. Reverse. I turn this on. And that's about how fast the bottle should be done. Alright? But in reality, it's 2 guys working here, sometimes 3 or 4. We have to set everything up. It's all done by hand, except for the things that we touch. And that is freezing.
Can I ask a question?
You can ask anyone.
If you had a cork thing like that, say at home, which is random and weird, but would it, if you drank half a bottle of wine or champagne and you recorked it, would it make it last longer? Keep it instead of just putting a stopper on it?
But you would also do, so big thing when you cork a bottle of wine, normally that's not champagne. What do? What do we put into it? Oxygen. Oxygen we like to, some people say wrong and stuff. Oxygen is not the right answer though. Any other idea?
Bacteria?
Bacteria, no. It's either nitrogen or argon. And that's so there is no oxygen, because oxygen inside of it would there we go, man. You better hold on to see how the first one is. Right? And that would only do a certain amount, because even back in the day, they would only have a hand label.
Totally fits in my kitchen.
I'm sure you have a space for it right there.
This is even sometimes what we use when we make our own wine. So this would be when we don't want to run the whole bottle in the machine and we're making for a couple of members here. Like I make my own wine for the holidays that I've aged a couple times, do bigger bottles that usually don't fit in this. But I actually had there were 2 little boys that were on the tour yesterday, and this is very difficult. Like not easy to do. You would need not to be sexist at all, but you need a strong man to work this. You could have a strong woman, not saying you could throw that out there. But it is not easy. The 2 of them could not do it. I had to help them. And he was like 12 and he was like 8, just to get that going. So this would go right in, and we just have, it's almost like a man-made hydraulic press. It presses it from 4 different angles and squeezes the cork. And you also have to have some standing on it. So you stand on it and wow. And that would be the press into that. And we just shrunk that down to almost a third, or we took a third off of it. Right. Question?
So approximately how many bottles do you make, does one person make per hour?
You're doing this in long days. We did a pallet in a day, which is around 52. So that was a long day. That's like I'm here at 6 and we are done by 6:30. So, that's one thing, but if we take an hour, we'll show an hour.
Get some wine.
And they don't
It's
feel
usually
it's
beer.
better to invest in to get them, or they're so expensive?
The price of it is way up there.
Yeah, so our champagnes, we actually sell our champagnes at a low price. Most a traditional champagne bottle, if you're not paying over $30, it's usually probably not champagne. It's either a CO2 injection, prosecco, or something like that. Yeah, that would be the biggest thing. Right? But that's basically our finishing of all champagne of how we do it. If you have any other questions, I'm just going to hang out with you guys in here, get a glass of champagne. What we're trying today, Premier Cuvée. If you don't like this, there's a problem. This won a gold medal from state. That's out of 50 wines, 50 plus wines sometimes, alright? Double gold is the highest, so it is second, I'm not gonna lie to you. But that is amazing. It's best done awards in the past 15 years, especially over just telling you guys. And you also have cheese crackers, caviar set up. Excuse me. And Sue will be in there to have any other things that you have. If you have any questions wine related, feel free to ask. Sorry, you're really close. Yeah, you missed the beginning story. That's alright. Yeah, alright. Yeah, so we can go into that too.
So when you see wines that like are not corked and they're just like screw caps, it's not really a great wine.
Alright, and I actually forgot just a quarter of the tour, it's not over. You can start going into that. But now we're talking about the best part, consumption, and that's usually when I go over to here. So, still freezing, okay. Alright, so consumption, when we get to the bottom, alright, who loves to pop the bottle of champagne, like when you hear that pop, yeah.
Yep.
You're doing it wrong, No, you never hear a pop, you never hear a pop when opening the bottle of champagne. The only noise you should hear is
Yep.
that's it,
Yep.
that's it, just say.
That's
because
gas.
when you pop that bottle of champagne, you're actually destroying the time that it sat on the page, you're destroying that effervescence that's inside the bottle, and you're destroying taste. It should be a calm thing. That sitting down, that elegance, let it be elegant, let it sit. You don't want to disturb that. You do it nice and slowly. Alright, so opening the bottle. My favorite thing, the doctor, that's when I went 2 years ago. This was actually his tour, and I'm just carrying on. He would do a cute little dance, but he was a cute little, shorter, older man. But, so,
Go ahead, do it.
yeah, that was basically it. He actually, he was a doctor in Storybook for many years. His favorite statistic he would bring in every year, and he always had, he'd be like, you know how many people went to the hospital this year on New Year's? I'm like, how many? He's like, 67. I'm like, 67? Yep, all champagne related incidents.
Yep.
Like, oh my god. Yeah, and
Yep.
his favorite thing to say to people, one of his favorite lines was,
Watching.
don't give people champagne on New Year's. Never give them champagne, especially if you're paying for it. Never just give them ginger ale. They won't even get some difference. Because most of the time you're drinking anyway. It's like, save the champagne for a good occasion. Save it for a good food. Save it for a good time and enjoy yourself. It's a palate cleanser and it's usually a great thing if you like champagne. You can also do it on New Year's if you like doing that, but that was one of the big things to always bring up. Alright, so opening the bottle, we used to call this the grill. You just put your, if you're in the kitchen, you get ready to open the bottle of champagne, towel right over the top, and we unscrew that cage. Remember when I told you that cork was screaming? Because it still probably is. When you hold that cage helps hold that pressure down. If that cork's gonna come out, if you doing this, it's just gonna, ooh, you do that too, I'm not good at that. Woo that away, and then the cork is just gonna fly out. But if not, you're great, you take the cage off, and now what you're going to do is you're going to palm the bottle like this, and then you're going to twist the bottle, not the cork, and how you open it. And you're going to apply downward pressure, right? That sounds like you're not opening the bottle, but it's slowly going to open that way. When you apply the downward pressure, you're just letting the bottle open slowly. That's all you need to do. Don't rush it. Everyone wants to rush everything. Take 20 to 30 seconds to open the bottle. Enjoy it.
Enjoy it.
Thank
Yep.
you, right? Everyone's like,
Save it to play with.
John shot me in the face. John is the guy that went to the front bar. You can go make more of that. I've been shot in the face, and that does not feel good at all. It hurts. It comes out like a rock.
Oh yeah.
I did get it bad, really bad. But I was holding the bottle. It was one of the chilled bottles, and the cork flew when I didn't even have anything done, and it ricocheted and sprayed him from head to toe. Best time of my life. I'm sorry, I know that whole bottle. I got yelled at. It was so worth it. It felt so good. Fresh kept that because that was like 3 years ago. I was like, man, that is so. He's like, this is karma, isn't it? I was like, yeah, it is. I was like, definitely come back and got you. Right? So once we open that bottle, all right, we have it open. We spent that time to open it. Okay. We go to consumption. All right. Champagne. Anyone know what this is? Real glass, champagne glass, right? Anyone know how this was created? No clue.
I heard a story about it, but I'm not sure if it's true. Marion Twinette's broth?
Yes, it is.
Way to go, John! Hey, give me 5, man!
Cup size. The idea is that she was considered the ideal woman, and she was very prestige at that time. So, but guess what? Guess what? This is not good for champagne. This is something you'd have next to your champagne glass. You'd have a little bit of fruit, a little bit of something going in. Put some shrimp cocktail in it, some ceviche or something. This does not promote effervescence in your glass when you're consuming it. This does a fluted glass. You actually want it to come directly up from the middle of the glass because you'll get a better taste. Glassware does affect everything. Everyone will say that glassware affects everything. If you do enjoy wine, spend money on your glasses. I always tell you that. I always tell people to bring the glassware here, even though that sounds weird, especially coming into it. Bring glassware here. I love when people do that. It's weird, but that's all right. And as you can see on that little hole at the bottom, that's actually laser etched. So it promotes effervescence to come from one point, which will help that even better. Because those glasses are more money. That was basically what we told them. A little bit slower to take a lot of these people, but if you have any further questions, let's enjoy the best part though. Let's go.
We're grabbing a glass of champagne. We're having crackers and caviar. We have the red caviar, and you also have the black caviar. Very good.
Every quarter.